Good evening, everybody. What's up, OGs? Lena's in the house. She's a VIP OG and a moderator, so trolls, be careful. We have moderators in the house. Hello to Beat the Greaves says, love this channel about the What's case. She knows her stuff. Well, damn, there's a lot of information out there. I'm just doing my best over here. Lena says here, and Annie says, hey, hi, Lena and Gisela. Hello to you, Annie. Damn, did you send me down a rabbit hole last night? Claire knows it, right? Claire, I was really almost up quite till very late last night. Looking at that sheet and pillowcase thing. Annie, I did not manage to open the link you sent me. I have listed an email address on my about page on my channel. So if anyone wants to email me anything, some information or whatever, it's there now. I made one specifically for this channel. So you can email me something there if you wanted to. I couldn't open it. It said the link expired or something. Literally, Annie says, I was thinking of you as your mind blown. My mind is blown. That freaking Starbucks cup. And the pillowcases and the sheet. Okay. Oh, my word. Claire says, I'm back for another What session. I'm addicted. I said you would. Yeah, you said I would, and I am also addicted. That's the thing with this case. It's actually highly addictive, right? My goodness. So we're continuing on from the bottom of page 5 this evening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Become an OG and original Grizzly. All you got to do is subscribe. And shout out to Gail, I believe, surname Parker, for becoming an OG and typing I subscribed in the comments. Then I give you a special shout out there as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know. It just said I couldn't open the link, didn't have permission, or it expired. Those were my options. So I'm like, all right. So anyway, but I didn't mind. You know why? Because I spent hours looking at this sheet and pillowcase thing. So just to get everyone up to speed, what am I talking about? The sheet and pillowcase thing. It seems like on the Monday, you know, when Chris Watts was coming to the house when the cops were there, on the Monday, when the cops went through the house like 3 times between Monday and Tuesday, there was no sheet or pillowcases in the trash can in the kitchen. And then on Wednesday, suddenly there was, and a Starbucks cup. And that was just never studied. They never analyzed the substance on the sheet and the pillowcases. And it's like it was planted there. So this is blowing my mind. Okay, so Annie says it's highly addictive. It's so highly addictive, right? I agree. Claire says, I watched a video on another channel where Shanann was baking cookies with the kids and making her look like the narcissist. I know, they love to do that. I've never ever seen a case. By the way, how's the volume, guys? Because I've turned up the gain big time. Hope the volume is good. I hope I'm not shouting. Hope I'm not shouting either. Am I shouting? Let me know. I'll turn it down just slightly. They do like to do that. And that is unfair because whenever, like if we look at Ted Bundy, right? Big case. It's like, when do they ever nitpick each victim like that? Like, this is unfair, the way that they do this. You know, no, I don't get it. I remove comments like that from my channel as well. If anyone's going to do the victim blaming thing, I'm not for it. So, photo flies photography. Welcome, Leray. What is bothering me is that NK, I know, is very involved in getting away with it. That's what bothers all of us, right? It bothers me big time. And then some people, like, you know, with their good guy badges, very shiny on, right? Are they like saying, we need to stop this. We need to stop talking about the case because this will get someone killed. By someone, they mean NK. Because we're all endangering her life by talking about it. But I'm like, wow. There's just so many red flags. There are so many red flags. And when we all feel the red flag, we all feel that like, we must warn someone. We must tell someone. We must find this out, you know? So, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw my Grizzly news episode this morning. I do that every morning for you guys as much as I can. I give you the top 5 or 6, maybe it might even be a few more at one point, like the top 10 stories or the top 5 stories or whatever of what I find in true crime on the news. Yes, agreed. I mean, normally I always want to be extremely appropriate, respectful to the case. I respect it. But in this case, I can't stop talking about it because it just drives me absolutely nuts. And this is why, if you know me at all, I'm a true crime author. And I write very old, very solved case books because of this. When people are like, do you like unsolved cases? No, it will keep me awake at night. And I'm also on Watts Island 24/7. You guys can also find me on TikTok. I'm on there. I'm on LinkedIn. I think all the links are in the description box below. Grizzly underscore books on Instagram. If you ever want to send me messages or interact over there, I post quite a lot over there as well. And I have another Instagram called That Gisela K. That's very different to what I do here. So welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you here. I'm going to continue. I just want to give a trigger warning, even though there was already one in my intro. In case you missed it, we are talking about Shanann, Bella, and Celeste in this one, about what Chris Watts said in that interview. I have a little bit of, you can see it's very weak, Seagram's Canadian whiskey. I bought some Jim Beam whiskey, and I just don't like it as much. I love this one. It's just so nice. So anyone from Canada, anyone ever had this whiskey? Seagram's, love it. I just put a little bit with some water. In case you people are worried that like I'm drinking 4 nights a week. Like, what are you doing? It's very little. It's for the blood pressure. It's for the blood. What do they say? It's for the blood. Blood thinners. Not that I need that. I'm just being silly now. Okay, so here we go. I'm monitoring the chat as well, as is Lina, who is a VIP moderator. So if I miss anything, I'm sure Lina will bring it to my attention, but I am checking it all out there. And welcome to another episode. As you can see, I scheduled the Jody areas and Casey Anthony one for next week, Wednesday. So this whole week, all we're doing is we're doing the Chris Watts thing. We're on Watts Island. We might be on Watts Island for quite some time. I'm not sure. And I'm going to do the transcripts now. So Debbie McLean says, Chris emptied the garbage can after supper Sunday night. The pizza box, crust, chicken tray, scrapes were gone. Right? Some weird stuff with the trash, right? Lena says, hello everyone. Sorry, I had to do something. Don't worry, Lena, don't worry. Okay, so we ended up yesterday with Chris Watts saying Shanann made most of the decisions in the house. I wouldn't blame Shanann for that. Why are people blaming her for that? You know? Yes, she probably did, but what does that say about Chris Watts? It doesn't mean what does it say about her. What does it say about Chris Watts? Anyway. Yes, murder at bedtime with Lyndon. Lyndon's in the house. What's up, OGs? We got 2 moderators over here. Okay, so with regard to what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, this is Chris Watts' version of events. I don't buy it at all. I'm pretty sure everyone who's here, we don't buy it. It doesn't seem like it, based on all the things that we found, right? He put a clean bag in Starbucks cup on the bottom of the can under the sheets and pillowcases. Yes. And then he was talking about like washing the sheets, and I don't know. This whole thing with the sheets is very interesting to me. Okay, so with regards to them, Shanann arrived home around 2 a.m. and he felt her get into bed. I feel like he was in the basement, probably with NK, but anyway. He felt her stirring around in bed, and he felt like she knew he was having an affair. Oh yes, because he's so intuitive. Shanann did not bring home a Starbucks, so who owned the cup? That's my question. That is my question. And they did search the trash on Monday and Tuesday. The Starbucks cup apparently wasn't there. It was planted there, allegedly, on Tuesday night when Chris Watts spent the night at his friend's house. Something like that. Very weird. Don't know if you've been down that rabbit hole. It's very deep. Okay, so he says he felt that she knew he was having an affair. He had used his credit card when he went out to dinner with Kessinger because he didn't have another Anadarko gift card and couldn't ask Kessinger to pay. Okay, I do believe that he was trying to start a fight. He was trying to catalyze a very, very big fight, which, of course, very sadly, we know what happened. But he was looking for trouble that night by doing that. He was being very blatant and very obvious about his affair. So him saying he felt like she knew he was having an affair is his own mind feeling like, yeah, swipe that card. Did you see that? Huh? You saw that? Please let me know if I'm speaking too loudly or too softly. I've tried to make the volume perfect for you guys. All right, so he said, Shanann started rubbing her hand on his leg or chest. I mean, that's also very different. Which one is it? And they had sexual intercourse. I don't believe that for a second. Do you believe that? Do you believe that they had sex? No, I don't buy any of the story of what he's saying here. Photo flights, photography. Lorraine, I agree. I find it disgusting how they're portraying her. She may have been the more extroverted personality in the relationship, but so what? I know, right? Like, so what? Why are they like, she was bossy, she was bitchy, she's a narcissist, she's a this. Why? She's a victim of murder. Her and her daughters. Pregnant lady and 2 daughters. Like, hello, could we stop the victim blaming? I really don't get it. I really don't. Yes. Lena says, sounds great. I'm going to call you Lorraine, okay? Is that cool? Instead of photo flights, photography, Lorraine says, NK was definitely in the home that night. I agree. Claire says, have you watched the video where Shanann was texting her friend? She said, he said to her they weren't compatible. Yeah, I saw that. Nope. Yep, none of us believe this. Load of horse. Shh. Okay, and then he says, Watts said he and Shanann had sexual intercourse at approximately 2:30 a.m. From what I've watched for a long time and what I believe she was murdered shortly after entering the home. I do not believe that she went upstairs and like did this whole thing that he's saying. No. This is just a way for him to absolutely humiliate her, right? Yeah, he wouldn't even touch her belly. Correct. Okay, awesome. So he said he and Shanann had sex in the missionary position. It's also weird that he would say that because it's almost, again, comparing her to his mistress, where the mistress was looking up, I'm trying not to say trigger words, butt stuff. She's looking at butt stuff and like, I don't know, threesomes, butt stuff, all kinds of positions, lots of positions, very exciting for this stupid dude. And now he's like, yeah, they had sex in the missionary position. It just gets me that he can talk like this even in 2019. This was in February 2019. And he still talks like this about Shanann. And remember last night we covered how he talks about NK with so much empathy. Is she okay? Did she like move out of state? Like, did she get counseling? But here he's like, oh yeah, it's missionary position. Like, it's just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, back door, right? Back door and that funny little window in the basement that's just got that weird covering. I really think whoever could come and go there as often as they liked. There was no surveillance there either. He is disgusting, I agree. And then he says he felt like sex with Shanann was more of a test. Okay. Right. I think he felt like every day with Shanann was a test because his ego might have been tested every single day. In a way, but not in a bad way. I'm not victim blaming. I'm saying he's so freaking self-conscious and projects a lot of his own feelings about himself onto others. He felt strange when he had sex with Shanann and questioned who he was and who he had become. Well, one would feel strange if you've been banging your mistress for a solid month and sleeping at her house and now suddenly you're back with your wife. Dude. Thank you so much. Thank you for sending me that link. I'm eager to see what the Anadarko employees said in their statement. I'm hearing a lot about Troy McCoy. Yeah, he lost weight. Another woman gave him attention, and all of a sudden his God-given family isn't good enough. Entitled. So entitled. And as I've said before in my tribute to Shanann, she wasn't the hot girl. It's like, yes, another woman gave him attention, and she was very like, what should we call her? Very expressive. And I'm not saying that Shanann wasn't. It's just that he was like, oh yeah, this is new and exciting. So, but he had the hot girl. He had a very, very beautiful woman. So what the hell was he thinking? Is Debbie in the house? Oh, Debbie McLean. Okay, my bad. Debbie from the Right Shoe podcast. I believe she's at work right now, but she does catch up when she can here, right? Test my patience too, right? Lindsay's in the house. This is another OG. We've got some VIPs in the house tonight, stolen from me by Lindsay. Go check out that as well. Channel, podcast, everything. All right. Everybody's all excited. Very nice. So then he said, having sex with Shanann may have been a trigger point. Now listen to what he says. Or like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up. Is it Shanann's fault for testing you by having sex with her husband after spending 5 weeks apart, and then you also went there to holiday, and then she was just away on a business trip, more time apart. She's trying to fix her marriage, but by her trying to fix her marriage, He says it's a bomb. It's just like pushing a button on a bomb and it just blows up. What? I feel like, let's speculate for a second, shall we? Yes, they do that, Claire. You said it amazingly well. That's so, I'm going to say that from now on, okay? They chuck away a diamond for a stone. It usually is like that. I told you I was in the airline industry for like 9 years and I saw this all the time. Men cheating on their wives. They're beautiful, gorgeous, talented wives with like, really? That's your choice for cheating? Like, I don't get it. They on average got married, on average, 3 times in that industry. But like, they definitely chucked away diamonds for stones. So yeah. He said he strangled her, but yet removed the pillowcases with stains, right? And those stains are freaking weird. It looks like smothering. It doesn't look like strangling, even though there is a thumbprint apparently on the autopsy on her neck, right? That seemed like he had a lot of help. This is bad. Anyway, I'm just saying, for him to say, it's like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up. Meaning, if you think about it, you know I love to break down communication and people's analogies. I analyze stuff like this a lot. And for him, it's almost like he's saying, the bomb was ready, I'd prepared it, and there was a button, and all she had to do was push that button. Because he is saying, it's like you hit the push button on a bomb, and it just blows up. Okay, well then the bomb was armed and ready to go, right? Yes. And then he said, he and Shanann fell asleep after they had sex. Well, that's a lovely story, but it's not true. Lies, calling lies. I really wish I lived in America, man. I feel like I would want to go there and punch this guy in the... You can finish that sentence for me. Now here we go with more lies. When he woke up that morning, he got ready for work and then returned to the bed and woke Shanann up to talk. Yeah, right. Can you believe that when you watch that footage that Nate, the neighbor, had... Can you believe that Chris Watts, just think about how sickening this is. He prepared a lunchbox for his day for work. He murdered his whole family or had help or whatever the theory is, right? But the whole family murdered. Taken out either by himself or with help. To Survey 319, 319. And he packed a lunchbox. That, I don't know. It just drives me mental. What did he pack for freaking lunch? Why are you packing lunch? What is wrong with you? Like, okay, we know everything's wrong with him, but I just find that, like, that's pretty damn creepy. Like, oh, I'm going to make myself a sandwich for lunch today. What? Okay. He got ready for work and then returned to the bed and woke Shanann up to talk. Shanann was sleeping face down and rolled over onto her back to talk to him. He felt like he had to say something to Shanann. Oh, we thought it was a bomb. Think about this. He said it's a bomb and the button was pushed and then it explodes. Well, the way he's describing it here is a very delayed explosion, huh? He felt like sex was the trigger. But then they went to sleep and then they woke up and talked. You can just know this is absolute BS, right? What is everyone's opinion on his life now where he says he's forgiven for what he did? I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm saying he isn't. Okay, sorry, I'm not religious. Sorry, no disrespect to anyone who is, but like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. The fact that he's ordering lattes and Oreos from commissary. The fact that he thinks he can become a pastor, a missionary. I watched this documentary that Lina recommended to me. The Elise Matsunaga case on Netflix. And on there, they were talking about that sometimes... a lot of bad people, I actually wonder if it was that documentary, I watched so many things, but a lot of bad people can hover around and hang out in churches, and I feel like Chris Watts is one of those, you know what I mean? Like, now he's got his little halo on again. He's a good boy, and his mommy approves. Let's do it. What are we doing? Wait. Oh, going to America and punching him in the... I get it. A man's got to eat... I get it, but like, no, I can't imagine. Can you imagine him making a sandwich for his lunchbox? Just can't. I just can't. Oh my word. And you know, Chris Watts apparently has a very good memory. His IQ was between, I don't know, 136 and 140. They tested him multiple times. I think we get to that later. But the point is, he did some pretty dumb stuff, obviously. However, he has a very good memory. So he's one of those dudes that memorizes all the scriptures and walks around preaching it to everyone and really being like, oh, really? Like, okay, let me remember whatever, Matthew, this and this. And then they can tell him any scripture and he knows it. That's unfortunate because it makes him look super cool in prison. While he's hanging out with his cellmate, with his freaking baby oil. That's not very Christian of him. There's a lot more to be forgiven for, huh? While you're in there. Anyway, he ate pizza after the confession. That shows how the boy can eat no matter what. Ooh, I agree. So disgusting. Okay, so. He straddled her on the bed around her waist. He believed, it's weird that he has to specify that, around her waist. He believed Shanann initially thought that he wanted to have sex with her again since he was on top of her. Don't know about that. Pregnant lady. I don't know. Anyway, Shanann told him that he was hurting the baby. Clearly he didn't care about that. Ew, probably. Probably. Gross. He and Shanann talked for approximately 15 to 20 minutes with him straddling on top of her. Really? I thought you were a bomb with a button that was just ready to explode after you had sex the first time, but here you are talking for 15 to 20 minutes. He was concerned that Shanann knew about his affair, and she and the kids wouldn't be there when he got home from work that evening. So he's talking about abandonment issues here, except that he wants to get rid of his entire family. Okay. Yes, she did not die in that house. The dogs didn't alert, and there's no way 2 dogs would have missed that. I agree. I think it's much worse than we think. I think she was taken at the back door, possibly. Maybe even tortured, smothered, whatever, and maybe not by him. Yep. Well, that's Chris Watts to a T, right? I don't even think it has to be end times. It's just like any time some idiot like this comes along. Again, I don't mean any disrespect to anyone who is religious. I am not, but I just want to say that Angel from Crime of the Truest Kind said it so well in one of her episodes where she said, wow, look at that. You know, Jesus' favorite hiding place is in prison. Now, the reason she said that is because every dude like Chris Watts is like, found him. You know what I mean? But they're really faking their thing, aren't they? Or maybe it's the only way they can cope mentally. Not that we care how they cope, but I think it's the only way they know how to cope mentally. Presumably, he is in with the other child killers. Here he would have to be in solitary confinement if he wasn't. Interesting. Presumably he's in with the other child killers. Here he would have to be in solitary. Right? That night was all lies. I agree. I mean, he was isolated at the first prison he was in, and now he's been moved, and now, yeah, he's not in solitary confinement, which is very true. And remember, he's got a picture of his... I thought it was only a picture of each child that he had in his cell, but apparently it's his wife and children. What do you guys know? Do you know if it's... And he's got a children's book that he reads to them at night. That doesn't sound like something they would allow a child killer to do. There was a call to the police department about a suspicious white SUV on highway, I saw this, right, on highway 156 or highway 52, which was behind their house. I think she was taken to an empty house there. I agree. I'm thinking that along those lines as well. Oh man, and then probably smothered, right? Held down and smothered based on all the stains that we see and everything. Okay, so he said he felt like either Shanann would take the kids away from the house or would lock him out when he tried to come home after work. His story is just getting worse and worse. It's just getting so lame right here. Like, I thought she was going to lock me out. Yes, so that's why you had to do this? It's because you thought you're going to get locked out of the house. Bang, bang, bang on the door. Come on, let me in. Okay, no, that's not going to happen to me. And then he does this? No, man, this is all lies. He asked Shanann if they could cancel their couple's trip to Aspen. He asked Shanann if they could move to Brighton, Colorado so they could get away from their house. Doubt it. So now he's pretending that he's working on the marriage, you know, when the button to the bomb was pushed. Now he's trying to, can we cancel that trip? Why? And also, that's just sickening. But also, could they move? Can they move away? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. The question is, why lie? He got life in prison. I think if we looked at what he said on one of the first pages here on this transcript, when he said it wouldn't do anyone any good to implicate anyone else in the crime. Speaking of which, here we go. Remember these two? This is Trent Bolt and Amanda McMahon, the two people who came forward to say that they absolutely had sex with Chris Watts. Amanda in a parking lot, Chick-fil-A. Trent Bolt, he was on an escort site. Hope I'm not messing up the pronouns. All respect to that. I don't know. But like Trent Bolt, okay? And Amanda McMahon. And he's just like, I don't know what WhatsApp is. I don't know what anything is. But apparently he was on a lot of dating sites. He had a Tumblr account. He had all sorts of things. And he had his secret calculator. So he absolutely knew what WhatsApp was. You know what I mean? But I think he's covering up a lot. And that's why maybe he also feels so much empathy for NK. Because he's like, my bad. I messed up. I don't know. Like, it's just absolutely mad. Did anyone else see, let's just read this quickly. Did anyone else see NK on the surveillance footage? You can definitely see the upper part of her chest, woman's breast, and definitely a different style of clothing. Absolutely. I feel like the clothing, they tried to look the same, like they were dressed with the same black top and the same type of jeans and boots, but you could definitely see her ponytail, and you could definitely see some boobage, as Chris from Screen Time Horror Podcast likes to say. Some boobage was seen. And the purse. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's a couple of videos on YouTube where they slow down the surveillance footage from the neighbor and do it frame by frame, and you can literally see a ponytail. You can just make out a ponytail of someone walking. Some people over here are going to say, I'm talking absolute BS. I can see it. I believe it. It's my opinion. It's my channel. We're here to speculate, but also to talk about the facts, of course. Yeah, they were discredited, I believe, possibly, but it really looked like it. Yes, someone should. Let's hope he ends up... Sorry, this might sound really weird, but I think we all don't mind if I say this. Let's hope he ends up how Dahmer ended up in prison, you know what I mean? I saw that footage. I think she was there too. One had sneakers on. Yes, it wasn't quite the same, right? Tell the truth. Exactly. Okay, so... let me know if you want me to take the pictures down of Trent Bolt and Amanda McMahon. I think he had sex with him, just so you know. What do you think? I think he absolutely did. Them and many others. He's definitely not what he seems at all. Cool act, nice act, dude, but no. Guess what? Every other murderer and serial killer in history acts. They play a role, you know what I mean? So, Lorraine says, I'm so thankful for you and for all the YouTubers who are slowing down footage and actually taking the time to bring to light all these things that I don't feel investigated. Well, thank you so much. And I'm thankful to all those YouTubers too that even got me into this, because I'm like, wait a minute. And as I say, this is a little bit out of character for me to just keep on harping on about a case that is actually closed and that one should accept. Normally I'm like, all right, well, it's facts and I can be very logical and very like neutral, but this case defies all logic. Everything is just like intuitively, logically, in every way, a lie. It's all just red flags and lies. Anyway, so, right. So then he said he felt like going out on Saturday evening with Kessinger and using their credit card was going to be the last straw. So again, he's projecting. Let's speculate, okay? I'm going to speculate for a second. He's projecting his mother's reaction to him being a naughty boy on Shanann and being like, I was a naughty boy. Are you going to shout at me? Are you going to be aggressive? Because I really think he has some major mommy issues. But he's saying he really felt that was going to be the last straw. So it's almost like he felt like he had to attack her first, if you know what I mean, in his pea brain. Shanann told him she knew there was someone else and cried. He denied having an affair. He denied having an affair? Okay, then. And he said, you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but I don't think he remembers. If you really study Devil's Breath, you'll see that's possible. I'm up for that debate. I like that debate. I honestly feel like also, did you know that, okay, hold on. Sorry that sometimes I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say sorry. Sometimes I spit facts of serial killers because I've written books about them. So I went very deep in those cases and things just remind me of it. But like John Wayne Gacy, there are some instances which he doesn't remember doing what he did. He had these like blackout times. Right? It's like dissociation or amnesia or dissociative amnesia or whatever it is. But in this case, I feel like there might be some weight in this Devil's Breath stuff. I've got to go down that. I've been down that rabbit hole, but I got to go check that out again, you know? Never mind that look, I got a crystal right here. So this is amethyst, I believe. I hope it's real. It looks very fake actually. But anyway, amethyst here. So I'm not shading anyone with crystals. I don't believe in any magical powers in them. I just like how they look. But she was all into like crystals and like freaking voodoo shit and just like stuff, you know? And yeah, so the Devil's Breath and whatever she was putting in his drink and the detox stuff that she was giving him, you never know what that did to him mentally. I just honestly feel like hypnosis can be a very powerful and very dangerous tool. And I'm feeling like, what if he was hypnotized? Programmed to do this in a way. You know how a mistress can get when they want what they want, you know what I mean? The judge ordered that the defense could be present during the autopsy. It was scheduled for the next day and the prosecution didn't fess up. The defense wasn't informed either. Why such a rush? Woo! Exactly, why such a rush? What the hell is going on? And why is law enforcement and everyone involved? Renee, greetings to you all from the beautiful city of Morris, Illinois. And from Cologne, Germany? Cologne? Germany. You're from two different places? But greetings. Hello, Renee. Yeah, that tea is very suspicious. Have you ever heard of, wait, what's this one called? Oh yeah, I went to Fiji once and they've got this root drink that they prepare with hot water called kava. And I actually went to Fiji, right? So I went to this little, I can't remember, what's the main little city called? It'll come to me. But anyway, I went there and I sat there with a group of people in a shop that sold all kinds of Fijian jewelry and those little, what do you call them, ukuleles and things. And they were like, sit down, have a drink. And I'm like, okay. And like it was out of like a coconut type of bowl thing. And we each took a sip. And I was like, cool, thank you so much. Very nice. But I didn't know what it was. It didn't do anything to me because I literally had one sip. But when I got back to the person I was staying with, they're like, you can't just drink kava like on a random day. Like that stuff is hallucinogenic. Am I saying that right? You see, so if kava can do that, can you imagine what this Devil's Breath tea or anything else can do? We don't know. It's got psychoactive properties, right? Okay, Lyndon, you know Renee, what's up? Okay, from Germany. Family in Germany. I'm by Chicago, Illinois. Okay, cool. I was just talking about John Wayne Gacy, who's also from Chicago, Illinois. Does that ever bother anyone in Chicago? Like, do you guys think about it or no? Is that like long gone, right? Have you ever been past Gacy's house, by the way? Sorry for the weird questions. Yeah, I'd love to go, right? Okay. Oh, you mean to Fiji? Yeah, Fiji is amazing. I went there to a Tony Robbins seminar. Wouldn't recommend. That's another story for another day. When mentors turn out to be villains, huh? No, I believe he knew exactly what he was doing. Yep, possibly. There's a lot of possibilities here. I just wish we could have the definitive answers, you know? And he lies so much. Anyway, so he said, I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before. Well, you would if you're looking at if this is what happened and you were looking at your wife in tears, she's heartbroken, and then you're like, I didn't have an affair because you felt guilty, more guilty than ever before, which means you didn't feel guilty really the rest of the time. Absolutely sucked. You want a short story? Yes, Lena, absolutely, me too. I'm going to do a short story. Number one, they kind of force you to do colonics. Number two, you jump on trampolines all day. It's weird. Number 3, they don't tell you that Tony Robbins is not actually going to be there, even though they charge you an arm and a leg to have sort of more personal, intimate sessions with Tony Robbins himself. No, he's on a projector screen. Number 4, they don't tell you that you're going to fast for the first 5 to 7 days and only drink little shots of Udo's oil, obviously promoted by him, and also little shots of wheatgrass, also promoted by his brand of wheatgrass. And it was just horrendous. It was not nice. And those are not my only complaints. I have actually big complaints about it. But anyway, that felt very like spooky vibes from going to Unleash the Power Within in Chicago. Cool. That was sort of awesome. Besides the firewalking, I don't see the point of doing that. There's no point to think you're invincible or otherworldly. We live on this earth in this time, and that'll never happen again. Anyway, and the point is, then you go off to Fiji, and it's like so beautiful. But then it's like, what are we doing here? And why so many lies? It's also been confirmed that NK met Chris Watts and Shanann Watts at an Anadarko company picnic. Yes, in 2017. Hence NK researching them via Google. I know that, right? This is so crazy. So it's not like, oh my word, she didn't know Shanann at all. Didn't know Chris Watts at all. Like, literally was a cyber stalker. This occurred because NK's father, Dwayne Kessinger, was indeed Chris Watts' boss at Anadarko for a short time. However, NK's stepmom... I don't know the stepmom part. NK's stepmom was Chris Watts' current boss. I did not know that. I know about the dad. What does the dad do? Because I believe he was very, very wealthy. And I believe he's part of this theory of the payoff thing to protect his daughter. Am I correct? But damn, stepmom. Damn, okay. So, right, where are we now? He said he told Shanann he didn't think their marriage was going to work. He did not feel like he and Shanann were compatible with each other. Wow, okay, suddenly you're not compatible. Let's start a life. Let's get married and have 2 children and almost, having a third on the way, but then we're not compatible. If you were not compatible, there were many moments before that for you to say that. Yes, I agree. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so eager, but yes, I agree. Smell the BS all the way here from the Netherlands. Anything that's new always feels better than the old. That's what he said. Very cheeky of him to say something like that right there in that moment. Anything that's new always feels better than the old. Yes, well, in this case, this is the one moment I'm going to say something nice about NK. I hope she has something new, and I hope it's better than the old, because he's old news. Except that I think she's writing to him. Anyway. Yes, thank you, Renee. You're on my page. High-ranking Freemason. Exactly. This is what I'm thinking. This story is more grim and much bigger than we could ever imagine. You know, when people talk about the elites and people in power, I think there's a lot of that going on here. Might have even been a little bit of this is now going way off on the theories. A little bit of a sacrificial type of case, you know what I mean? To get higher ranked, all this kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys believe in this. I like to go there sometimes. Okay, so Shanann asked him, what about last night? She hadn't taken off her bra and didn't wash her face before she got into bed, so she had mascara running down her face. It's very weird detail to share with the police at that point. It's almost like he has to explain why she was wearing a bra still. After his little story of them having sex. He's like, yeah, she didn't take off her bra. I don't buy it. Not for 1 second. After being apart for so long, and then she just came back from a business trip. If she, which I don't believe she did, had sex with him. Which I also don't think she did. I don't think she just come home and have sex with him. I think she was very worried at that point and would have just come home to talk immediately. I don't think there was any sex involved. But even if she did, I'm sorry, but I just don't think there's any way she's keeping the bra on. And she always washed her face. I'm just saying if you watch all her live stream, oh my word, this is on my feed all the time on YouTube. I watch so many of her videos all the time now. It's kind of haunting. It feels like she's still around. You know what I mean? Whew, but she was always like cleaning her face and showing how she uses makeup wipes to take her makeup off, and like very into the skincare routine. So that's also weird to be like, yeah, she didn't take her makeup off and mascara is running down her face. I feel like he's trying to explain actually that when she walked in the door, she was murdered shortly after that, or taken out the back door and smothered somewhere else. And that's why she had a bra on, and that's why her makeup was on. Otherwise, that would raise questions. So he's almost like preempting things, you know? In my opinion, I think NK had both of them in her sight long before they knew it. I agree. She sniffed out his insecurities and targeted him. I believe she's very much into witchcraft and she molded him. I believe that 100%. And this is what I mean. I almost feel like this is a bit of a human sacrifice case. I know that sounds really spooky and really weird. Lena's here to back me up. I like paranormal stuff sometimes, and just some, you know, having an open mind, put it that way. Just thinking about things just a little differently sometimes. And I'm like, it could be. You never know. People can be into very weird things, right? And they would get a lot of power from doing this. Power in their belief system. Unless it actually exists and is power. So who knows how you want to see that. Then he said he and Shanann's conversation lasted less than 30 minutes. So at first he said 15 to 20. And now he again says less than 30. I think he means that if we had to just look at these important things he's saying with a timeline, I think he's saying that within 15 to 20 minutes of her being at home, she was either escorted out or carried out or whatever. Maybe knocked out and carried out. Maybe subdued and carried out. Maybe attacked and carried out. But anyway, I think within 15 to 20 minutes, stuff happened to her. And he says their conversation lasted less than 30 minutes, which means the total time interacting with her lasted less than 30 minutes. He was a ticking time bomb and he knew what he was doing, but NK had a huge role in what happened to this beautiful family. I agree. I'm very much into the paranormal, why this case is so interesting to me. Yes, I mean, it even, you know, it's even drawing in paranormal teams, right? This is just that one that you were talking about, Lena, from the How's It Haunting podcast. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, what is that app that you were talking about in your latest episode? Now that I've listened to your episode, it's coming up on my feed as well. For someone did it's with the R. It's an R word. There's an app where people go to like unsafe or dangerous places. Anyway, there was one where they went to their house. Shanann told him to get off of her and that she knew he had someone else. He couldn't bring himself to tell her about Kissinger. He told, yeah, obviously, because Shanann had met her already. I haven't listened to that yet. Nope. He says on the porch, I saw her come in, but it was quick. What does that mean? Exactly. What the hell? He saw her. It's almost like he was an observer of this crime. Yes, this one. I'm not even going to try to say it. You said it so well on your episode. Rando Nautica. I remember you said Rando Naughty. That'll stick. But I saw they did one of those at their house. And there was a lot of activity, a lot of energy. He told Shanann he didn't love her, and Shanann said, "You're never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see them again. Get off me and don't hurt the baby." That doesn't even sound like Shanann. We've all watched enough videos of her to know that that's not how she talks. Sorry. I know I shouldn't take it word for word, but just the way that he's explaining it, nope, that didn't happen. He immediately put both of his hands around Shanann's neck and strangled her. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her? Why does he say that? Chris made me sound amazing. My mind did not want to say it. But it sounded so good. Rando Nautica. Do you guys know what this is? It's pretty interesting. Okay, Debbie, carry on. So he kills the kids? Maybe. He might have. Yeah, probably. But with Shanann, I don't know. I think he knew. She's so freaking powerful, strong, feisty, would fight back. I just feel like, let's just say intuitively, right? I feel like he wasn't involved in, he didn't commit her murder. I think he observed it. Yes, let's do that. Imagine all of us arriving there, this whole freaking team right here. The OGs are in the house, dude. Okay, so he immediately put both hands. And then he said, every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of it? Why does he ask that? This is what I mean by hypnosis or devil's breath or just following instructions from the next woman in his life, whoever's got the throne, right? In his mind. It's weird. Never mind that his mother also didn't like her. So the seed was already planted to not like her. Get rid of her, but not in this way. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to accuse that. I'm just saying it didn't work out for the in-laws, huh? Then he says, like everything that happened that morning, I don't know, like, I try to go back in my head. I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. Everything just kind of like, it just felt like it was, I don't even want to say it felt like I had to. It just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it. And when I woke up that morning, it was going to happen and I had no control over it. I think he's a scaredy cat. And he was influenced into this, pushed into this, and knew that he couldn't back out at that point. Otherwise, his life would probably have ended too. I think he was probably a target too. If he didn't go through with this, his life would be over too. Yep. Okay, so Matilda says, it takes 3 to 7 minutes to strangle a human before you factor in pregnancy hormones and female rage, so I think someone held her hands down while he strangled her. It explained the lack of fight marks. I agree. I think he might have, if the story is even mildly true, let's say, which I don't think it is, I think when she walked in the door, stuff already happened, honestly. Anyway, but let's say he straddled her. I think he straddled her and maybe held her hands, and someone else entered the room and strangled her and smothered her. Imagine if NK was the one to strangle her and her friend Jim was the one to smother her at the same time. Oof. Hope he gets some prison justice. Me too. You can fly into Chicago and stay with me and travel to Wisconsin for a meet and greet. But then he says he planned it. He says a lot of things, right? But here he's definitely, contradicting himself. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening. It was like implanted. I was going to do it. Woke up that morning. It was going to happen. I had no control over it. Why? Why is he saying that? At the sentencing, you heard the prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone to death. So why couldn't I just let go? The hell? You mean, for him to even say, apparently it takes so long and I don't know why I couldn't let go. Maybe because you weren't the one doing it? I agree, you nailed it about targeting and playing into his insecurities. Yeah. Well, Debbie, what he says is, have you covered this? Explains the female handmark someone mentioned yesterday. Yes. Like a female thumbprint on her neck. Definitely wasn't his hand. I just feel like if I just envision it, tap into some intuitive energy, whether you believe in that or not. And imagine him straddling her on the bed. Because definitely the fans upstairs were going wild. So maybe things did happen upstairs and not in the basement. So maybe she really marched upstairs. Shanann marched upstairs and into the bedroom. Maybe to even confront him. Maybe he wanted to talk. Anyway, if he straddled her around her waist and even held her arms, maybe even made it look like he's enticing her, wants to maybe even say the opposite. Let's go with that. Imagine if he's like, I love you, baby. I really want to make this marriage work. Like, you look so damn beautiful. That type of thing. To get her to relax and lie down or whatever. And in comes NK and her friend. Huh? Or a whole bunch of friggin' 33rd level Freemasons. We don't know. Maybe he has lady hands. Well, he's got very funny looking hands, that guy. He showed us in that funny picture. It doesn't have lady hands, unfortunately. I think it was a lady. Renee says, I'm thinking that Shanann Watts was possibly sedated before she was strangled. I can't imagine any pregnant woman not fighting back, especially being strangled. I agree. I feel like she was sedated. Like, maybe he gave her a drink, or like, ooh, let me make you a tea, or like, maybe already had a teacup next to the bed or something with the sedatives in. Yeah, and I mean, we know, I'm sorry again to reference Jeffrey Dahmer, but for him, between 7 and 15 minutes, something like that, he could get someone completely sedated and do anything he wanted to them. But she wasn't completely tranquilized, not based on the stains on the pillowcase. It looks like face marks and stuff. So she was just subdued, not completely knocked out. That's what I believe. Has anyone watched the Spirit Box sessions where they claim to be talking to Shanann, where she says that NK was there and she was cheering him on in the background? I feel like, well, imagine that. Oh no, she would be the person to cheer him on. That's how he talks though. You look so damn beautiful, girl. She'd slap him silly if he said that. Okay, so now he says he doesn't. Also, it's funny that he says he heard the prosecutor say it takes 2 to 4 minutes. Really? You heard the prosecutor say? So when you planned to strangle your wife, or you planned in your head that your wife was going to get strangled, you never Googled that, hey? You never looked that up, not one time. He just heard it from the prosecutor. Yeah, right. He knew. He already knew. All right. So, he doesn't want to know what Shanann saw when she looked back at him while he was strangling her. What's denied covering Shanann's head or face with anything when he strangled her? Then what are those stains on the pillowcase all about? And when he says he doesn't want to know what Shanann saw when she looked back at him while he was strangling her, don't you think it would feel like, speculate for a second, ultimate betrayal if she were, yes, if you see your husband doing this to you, sorry for the visuals, I don't think he would say that. I think he would say that if she saw him and NK and maybe the friend. That is ultimate betrayal, and she would have looked at him and like, how could you do this? How could you let this happen? Do you know what I mean? The way he's saying it, I'm like, He doesn't want to know what Shanann saw when she looked back at him. When she looked back at him. Back at him. Just not, you know I like communication, sorry. Don't have to keep saying that. So when she looked back at him, not, he could have said he doesn't want to know what Shanann saw when she looked at him while he was strangling her. But he says, looked back at him. I feel like the energy of betrayal there. I'm feeling like she looked at him like, oh my word, you literally got this chick and maybe a friend to do this to me. Well, maybe he's standing in the background. We don't know. Women are known to move cars with their super strength via the lady hormones, but Chris overpowered her? Don't believe that at all. Maybe if he waited until she passed out. I agree. He would never, ever, 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 ever have overpowered Shanann. Let me take these people off. So it's not in the whole friggin' episode. There you go. Renee says, or letting anything happen to her baby boy and her daughters. Our natural defenses would kick in. With her adrenaline automatically kicking in, which is why I'm thinking she was sedated. Or somewhat sedated. I agree. He said, this is also so freaking weird, man. He goes like, okay. When she looked back at him, just remember that. Then Shanann never fought back or screamed. Well, that's one way to protect your mistress who's wearing a long-sleeved shirt at her interrogation. No, she never fought back or screamed. Impossible. We've all seen Shanann on all her videos. She is a feisty, or was a feisty, powerful, strong, beautiful woman. And you're telling me she's just going to lie there? No. No. She fought for her needs. She fought for her health. She fought for her family every day. But yes, Chris Watts, while you and your whoever are taking her life, she's not screaming or fighting back at all. He believes Shanann may have been praying. Who would do that in a survival situation? Meaning like, oh no, please let this not happen to me right now. No, your survival instinct will kick in. This guy knows absolutely nothing about survival instincts, psychology, just human nature. Nothing. Yes, what on earth is he taking to his grave? Because he did say he's taking stuff to his grave. She absolutely would have kicked the crap out of that sleaze NK. I agree. Man. He read he read the Bible that said, so now he's downplaying his freaking memory and the scripture thing. Forgive these people, for they do not know what they do. And maybe Shanann was saying that in her head at the time. Now, someone nitpicked that on one of the episodes I did, but I truly analyzed communication, and I know that it's a Bible quote, but it's like, Father, forgive these people for what they do, or forgive these people for they know not what they do. But I like to think about it like this. Forgive these people, for they do not know what they do. Plural, plural. I know the verse goes like that, but in my mind, how Chris Watts works and talks and how he is, I think it's plural. I think there was more than him in the room. Lena says, yeah, that room would have been a mess and neighbors would hear screaming and yelling. Have you guys also heard that theory? True, Lena. Have you? Oh, Debbie's in the house. I'm not sure if it's still live, but yes, it's still live. What's up? Have you heard Nate saying that he heard a lot of fighting and screaming in the house in the weeks leading up to this event? Just remember, that was probably NK. They probably had a lot of fights and screams. I don't think it was Chris Watts and Shanann fighting and screaming. I believe it was NK. What? The sexy backdoor stuff. NK and Leave Jamila, they should be Googling. Yeah, they're so close to each other. People would hear everything. Yes. This is true. I'm sure you guys on the chat can see that. It's a bit long to put on here. So, yeah, I just think with this Bible verse, the specific one that he's quoting, remember, he's the master now of Bible quotes. Forgive these people, for they do not know what they do. And maybe Shanann was saying that in her head at the time. He's speculating what she was saying in her head at the time. He's speculating why she didn't fight or scream. Maybe because one was smothering her, one was strangling her, and he was straddling her. She was overpowered. When he was asked to take off his shirt so we could check for defensive wounds, he knew immediately he didn't have any because Shanann never fought back. Shanann had long nails. This is an absolute liar. He does not recall Shanann's arm being pinned down by his knees. He does not recall it, but you see, it's weird that he says that too, and he brings it up because her arm was probably pinned down by his knees, yep. He doesn't recall, but it probably was. Imagine if there were 4 in the room. Wait, so he straddles her, NK strangles her, another person smothers her, and maybe there's 2 other people, each one holding an arm on either side. There will be 4 other people plus Chris Watts. Maybe even some of those Anadarko employees, I don't know. Especially if they're connected to her dad. Okay, so he said, I feel like in the back of my head that was going to happen. And just like at the end of the conversation, it was just like, that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go. No, you don't. And I feel like in the back of my head, that was just going to happen. Yeah, because you're scared of the other 1 or 4 people in the room. Literally not even a broken fingernail. She had long, long falsies on, right? Fingernails. Does anyone else feel that all of this attention and all of us here trying to bring all this to light reopen the case? It's so hard for me to let go as well. I've really tried to let this case go and just be like, I need to let it go, walk away, but I just can't. Here I am, back in it. Time seemed to stand still and he saw his life disappearing before his eyes, but he couldn't let go. How freaking weird is that to say? He says, time seemed to stand still and he saw his life disappearing before his eyes, but he couldn't let go. What is he talking about? It's her life disappearing before his eyes. That's a very effed up thing to say. It was like picturing someone around you, holding your hands, holding you and keeping you from letting go. It was like picturing someone, let's speculate the sentence, I'm going to change it slightly. Imagine if you said it was like picturing someone around her, holding her hands, holding her and keeping her from letting go. I don't know. The things he says is just like, damn. He felt like he was in a rage and snapped. Not true either. Nope, he planned all of this. Psychologically maybe snapped, right? I said the word snapped in one of my episodes before, but I meant at some point he psychologically snapped. I don't mean instantly, both, there he goes, and now he's going to do this. That is not at all true. No way. It's just too premeditated for that. His attorney mentioned the crime of strangulation was passionate, and he does not understand how that could be passionate. Maybe because you have only one word for passionate, but also he quite liked the BDSM thing, so I don't know why he doesn't understand how strangulation type of stuff can't be. He's being really dumb over here by saying this. Very strange. Very strange that he nitpicks that word. He doesn't like that the attorney said it was passionate. Ooh, okay, sorry. I just roll with it. I feel like over here he's almost saying, he's revealing that he feels some sort of ickiness for maybe even feeling passionate about this. Maybe, I'm sorry to say this, aroused. He was very busy with NK, and maybe this was just something else that they were into. NK throwing a tantrum and sitting in her truck after their argument, I bet their couple scenes were horrendous. That lady is a hot mess. There's no way she just walk away from that marriage. Exactly. Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you. You're doing an awesome job. Keep up this important work. Sometimes there are some people whose acrylic or gel nails will stay on. If they were done cheap, I don't think hers would have been done cheap, but you can imagine if you're fighting for your life, I'm sure it could have stayed on, but there wasn't any sign of anything, nothing on her fingernails or hands. A light must be shined on the Weld County Prosecutor's Office, and in particular D.A. Rourke. Weld County has been plagued with massive corruption for years. I don't doubt it. Yep, I don't doubt it. The thing is with, again, sorry to reference this one, but Jeffrey Epstein, people were like, let it go, just drop it, just stop it. He's got the money, he's fine. He even shut down the FBI. They just like, he kept them quiet, but people wouldn't let it go, meaning the survivors especially. They're like, hell no, we got to fight this, right? And then look what happened. He got caught, he went to jail, and yes, he possibly died. He probably died. But what up, Black Gray? You haven't been here in a while. What's up, dude? I wouldn't want to be your friend. She's so scary. My point is, I think a lot of us can't let go of this case because it's like harping on something, you know? It's like harping on something and hoping that maybe we could reopen that freaking wound and case and be like, hello, could you maybe look at this? Surely they still have some evidence, right? Stored away to reassess. Never mind the technology evidence, the cell phone towers, the GPS, the everything like that. Chris Watts' defense attorney was promptly promoted to assistant DA after his sentencing. Oh my word. Matilda says, it doesn't surprise me that Chris doesn't understand the word passionate. He also had to Google what telling someone I love you feels like, and he had been married for many moons by that time. There's somewhere here later where we'll see that his attorneys told him, you're going to have to show more emotion in court. If you don't take this plea deal, you're going to have to show some more emotion. Otherwise, people will just think you're a very cold person. Because he literally had almost zero range of emotions. When? Knocked her and Chris Watts out. I wish he did. He said he felt like, he was in a rage and snapped. His attorney mentioned the crime of strangulation was passionate. Yes, okay. That morning, it was a new type of fight. Again, that's where I'm going to say, what if it was sexual in his mind, in his sick mind with NK? A new type of fight. Do you know what I mean? There was emotion at first, but it was more anger than anything else because there was no love there. Okay. I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her. I'm just hearing BDSM vibes. I'm sorry, but that's what I hear, that he liked this. Shanann knew something wasn't right and wanted to fix it. After Shanann was gone. He didn't know what was happening and felt like it was a traumatic event. He was shaking and didn't know what had happened. He didn't know what to do and didn't know what he had done. He wasn't in the right state of mind and wasn't in control of his thoughts or actions. People asked him why he didn't call 911, but no one knows what they would do in the same situation. It's like he's making like, oh my word, I can't believe I ended up in this situation. Like, what should I do and what would I do? We're not asking about, I don't know, something silly and everyday thing, like no one knows what you do in that situation. Well, tell us, Chris, what is the situation? What situation? You mean a situation where you have maybe 3 or 4 other people in the room, at least one other person, cheering you on? No one knows what they would do in the same situation. I'm calling sexual vibes. Yes, it should never. And so many people have been silenced. Let's hope I don't get silenced. Just speculating, allegedly. Yes. Imagine being in America, just knowing the mistress is out here, just wandering around. NK is a lot like Casey Anthony. She stays in Colorado, right? Liking the attention, right? Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Imagine if they're friends. Imagine if that happens, because that's possible, seeing as they both live in the States. Ew. Wow, 1 hour and 7 minutes already, huh? Let's have a very quick commercial break, and then I'll do like 5 more minutes. I tried to do an hour, but we're only we're only on page 8. We're doing worse than last night. Alright, I'm back. Also, I haven't even had my friggin' palate cleanser. It's pecan nut chocolate. Matilda says best friends. I hope you guys bring something to snack on. Best friends, Casey Anthony and NK. I saw, sorry now for the chewing. This is why I have anxiety eating on camera, which is why I do it. In case some of you missed the beginning of my channel, sometimes I eat a little something because I'm trying to overcome the anxiety of eating in front of people. Took me 2 years to eat in front of my in-laws. Not that they noticed. And it comes from trauma from my childhood, so I try. Bella, Cece, Nico, and Shanann need us to speak for them. If we don't, who will? Most can say just let it go, but even though it's time-consuming and difficult, everyone deserves real, true justice. I think we're all here because we know how much Shanann and those... Shanann, Bella, and Cece, and Nico were wronged. I don't want to say those girls because it's distancing language. I hate it when people talk in distancing language about something like this. So they were so wronged, and I think we are all fighting for them. Have you seen the movie The Lovely Bones? Lena, I know you're not a fan of this movie, but it's that kind of vibe where you're like, it feels like they're trying to get people to tell their story. Okay. Are you guys happy for me to carry on a little bit? I could carry on a little bit. Okay. So. Yeah. 2 narcissists. Yeah, they would hate each other, right? Both of them would point fingers at each other. Okay, so after Shanann was dead, he gets sickening here. Bella walked into their bedroom holding her blanket and asked what was wrong with Mommy. He believed Bella may have been woken up by the noise. He told Bella, Mommy don't feel good. You see why I said, whatever cringy thing I said, like, I don't know, I love you, baby, or you look so beautiful, whatever. It's like, Mommy, don't feel good, you know? Bella thought Shanann was sleeping. I mean, she was 4. He wrapped Shanann face down in the bedsheet. This is also like, He wrapped Shanann face down in the bedsheet, which was recovered at the oil side. Shanann was still wearing her shirt, bra, and underwear she had on when she got into the bed. There's a whole theory about this underwear actually being in a suitcase or in the trash or somewhere. Very interesting. And the sheet, from what I saw at the oil side, looked very dry and very clean, and the one in the trash looked very opposite to that. Lots of sand, lots of residue. What is going on? He tried to carry Shanann down the stairs and lost his grip and ended up having to pull her down the stairs. Bella watched him drag Shanann down the stairs and began to cry and said, "What's wrong with mommy?" What kind of, if this is even mildly true, what kind of monster does this? Like lock them in a room? Alright. Lena said, "You know I'm here for it." Blue. Hello, Miss Gisela. Hello, Blue. What's up? Whose name are we talking about? Shanann? I'm surprised she even had a shirt on, summertime and all. I agree. I think, yeah, they might have dressed her after or something. I don't know what the hell. Why couldn't you just, if this is mildly true, stop it and lock the girls in a room? It's not that hard. To let them walk around and watch this is ridiculous. He told Bella again that her mommy didn't feel good. Bella's a smart girl and knew what was going on. Bella never touched Shanann or tried to wake her up. Bella followed him down the stairs. He backed his pickup into the driveway and put Shanann into the back seat of his truck on the floorboard. I don't see that on any of the surveillance footage. I don't see him struggling with anything or putting a body in the back seat. This is all a very sick lie, I think. Let me know what you think. When he returned inside, Celeste was in her room and starting to get out of her bed. He believed the noise of Shanann's feet hitting the stairs as he dragged her down the stairs may have woken up Celeste. Bella and Celeste were light sleepers. Okay, so all the tussle and the smothering, the fighting, that didn't wake them up. No. It's the sheet and the feet, right? Dude, like this guy doesn't make any sense. Every time he sees pictures of Bella and Celeste, he doesn't understand how it could have all happened. Why is he allowed to see pictures of them? Why? Being a dad was the best part of his life, and he took it all away. He felt like someone else had control over him that day, and he wasn't able to fight back. We can all speculate who that was, am I right? When the prosecutor said Bella bit her tongue repeatedly, he wanted to bang his head up against the wall. Is that all you wanted to do? That's all you wanted to do, is just bang your head up against the wall. It's like he doesn't understand emotion at all. He's just trying to think, what movie did I watch where someone's really upset about something? You know what they do? They bang their head against the wall. Yeah, that's what I would have done. At that point, he put his lunchbox in the truck. Remember the lunchbox thing I said? He put his lunchbox in the truck and then put both Bella and Celeste in the back of his truck on the bench seat. Shanann was lying on the floorboard. Bella asked, "Is mommy okay?" He told Bella and Celeste that mommy would be fine. Bella and Celeste each had a blanket with them, and Celeste had a stuffed animal, a barking dog. Now I know, I'm a bit uncomfortable with all this because it's the kids, so I'm just like reading a bit faster. It's important to say, but it's like, it's tough. Even if it's just a fiction story in his mind, it's so sickening. You know, if this is not exactly how it happened, it's sickening. He put a gas can in the back of his truck and felt like he could get rid of himself at the same time. Not true. He didn't feel like he deserved to live or be on this earth after what had happened. Doubt it. After everything happened, he considered taking his own life as well. Doubt it. Love from the Netherlands. Marja, I'm also in the Netherlands. I'm here in Utrecht. Where are you from? What's up? But yes, love to everyone from the Netherlands. Now there's two of us. Okay, after everything happened, yes, he considered taking his own life as well. He did not, I'm not going to say the trigger word, take his own life, because he felt like if he did it out at the oil site, he may have ended up hurting more people than just himself. Do you understand what he's saying there? Are we talking about NK's dad? Are we talking about financially hurting other people? Are we talking about other Anadarko employees? Yeah, I think we all wish that, honestly. Don't you think this is weird that he says he did not do it, take his own life, because he felt like if he did it out at the oil site, he may have ended up hurting more people than just himself. You already hurt 3 other people and your unborn baby. So that's a weird statement. It's like he's loyal to whatever's causing him to do this. NK and whatever organization or whatever, whoever else is involved. Big plan, grim plan. Straight facts. Absolute lies. Amsterdam. There you go, Amsterdam. 3 people in his cap. Oh, wait, 3 people is his cap. What do you think really happened with transporting her? I think she went out the back in a different truck. Probably with NK, maybe a friend. That's what I think. I'm not sure what that means. Educate me. I'm not sure. But hello. What's up, Rita? Okay, so he knew there were other people in the area and didn't want something to catch fire or blow up. I mean, are you kidding me? Have you seen that site? He knew there were other people in the area and didn't want something to catch fire or blow up? Then why are you taking a gas can there? You did want to blow something up. You knew there was almost nothing else in the area. Like, what is he even saying? Yeah, it's still going on, Debbie. 1 hour and 18 minutes. I'll go to 1 hour 30 tonight, okay? 12 more minutes. Also, thank you for watching my commercial break. If you do want to show me any support, those are all the ways you can do it. Everything's in the description box below. I do not mind if you never do. Just by watching and subscribing, you're already supporting me. He does not own any weapons, but nothing seemed right that morning. That's a weird statement. He doesn't own any weapons, but nothing seemed right that morning. Are you implying that other people in the room owned weapons? As he drove to the oil site with Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, he was nervous, shaking, and didn't know what was going to happen. I believe that he drove there with the kids, but not with Shanann. I believe Shanann was taken there later, probably by NK and Jim or someone else. Yeah, total hiding. But I mean, we'll be able to spot her in a crowd, am I right? We've looked at her face enough. Doesn't matter how she cuts her hair, or what she's doing now. Jim is apparently boasting on Facebook about killing people with his bare hands. He and NK will do it again, probably fun to them. Probably fun to them. What's up, Gail? You got a shout out earlier. I don't think you were here. Well done for, not well done. Thank you for becoming an OG, an original Grizzly, because you typed in your comments, I subscribed. Then you get a special shout out. Yeah, so apparently, okay, do you guys know if she is in witness protection or not? Because I've read a few differing things. It seems like she was going to be in witness protection, but wasn't because there was no trial that she could be a witness at, so she can't be in witness protection. So she applied to have her own name changed. But I think she's got a lot of powers, like her dad. People that can help her out with a new identity. You know what I mean? Yes, sorry, NK is Nicole Kessinger. The mistress. Yep, he's loyal to everyone except his 3 precious and innocent children and a wife that he murdered and didn't even know why she was being murdered. Right? I agree. Jim was NK, Nicole Kessinger's one of her best friends who was always hanging out with them, and when Chris Watts and NK went to the sand dunes for their little romantic trip, Jim was there. The 3 of them were very close. I heard she's not in witness, but her name is changed. Yeah, so she applied to have her name changed herself. I think her daddy helped her do that. Yeah, they need a trial. So she's not in witness protection. It's something they throw out there to sound cool. I guess she's in witness protection. So she's not. She did apply to have her name changed. Surely there's a record of that somewhere. Yes. What's his girlfriend? Okay, cool. Blue, welcome to Watts Island. You're now on Watts Island. Welcome to the rabbit hole that it is. I saw that someone was saying that they found Nicole Kessinger's profile on Pinterest, and it says she was living in Chicago and now in New York. But that's not the same person. There are other people called Nicole Kessinger, whether we like it or not. They are, and the Nicole name was spelt differently. So I think that was just a clickbait thing to do. What up, Blue? If you type I subscribe, then I'll give you a special shout out. But don't worry, here you are. I'm also an OG and original Grizzly. Welcome, Blue. What? You can change your name for $20 and a judge. Just need a legal reason to do so. Marriage, restraining orders, records open to the public as it's tied to social security number. Okay, well, we're going to need to see some of that. You know, anyone in the crowd, you know, connected to some law enforcement people that could look on the system for a social security number, or do we not know her social security number? Okay, she's not in witness protection. I agree, because on the surveillance tape there doesn't seem to be long enough space where you would have had to carry a pregnant woman and place her into the truck. That would take some time. I agree. I don't think he did that. Oh man, so here we go. He was driving out to the oil site. He was nervous, shaking, and didn't know what was going to happen. I believe because he might have been part of a bigger plan than himself. He knew at that moment that his life was completely changed. He has tried to picture the long ride out to the oil site and wondered if he could have saved his girl's life. Probably not, if this whole thing is bigger and grimmer than him, more grim than him. I believe so. I believe so. Apparently she's writing to him in prison. Apparently, allegedly. And then he says he had wanted his whole life to be a dad and nothing made sense, including the oil tank. During the ride, the girls were dozing on and off. They held each other and laid in each other's laps. During the ride, Bella said, "Daddy, it smells." I don't believe that. Yes, this is what I was talking about earlier. She also Googled sex as a threesome, which is why I'm thinking that this entire murder scene was very arousing for that threesome. Do you know what I mean? I think this was one of their fantasies. And that's why he also said sexually he's also taking a lot to the grave. Isn't that terrible, those poor girls? Yeah, it makes me sick. I just feel like Bella saying, "Daddy, it smells." I think he's making this up so that we can try to believe him that Shanann was in the car. I don't think she was. I think she was taken out somewhere else with someone else. When he got to the oil site, he took Shanann out of the back of the truck and pulled her over and laid her on the ground near where she was ultimately buried. The tire tracks don't match his tire tracks that were found near her grave, and there's no way he's carrying her out like that. Bella and Celeste were still sitting in the back of the truck as he removed Shanann. Bella and Celeste asked him, "What are you doing to Mommy?" He doesn't recall what he told them. He returned to the truck and Cece was first. Celeste had a blue Yankees blanket and he put it over her head. Trigger warning for anyone who's only joining now. This is about kids. It's very bad. Yeah, only loves herself, right? Yeah. I think he's making this up. I think he's making all this up. I do think he drove out to the oil site with the girls, but that other people drove Shanann there. Maybe not even at the same time. Maybe he just knew he was instructed of what to do. Anyway, Celeste had a blue Yankees blanket and he put it over her head. He strangled Celeste in the back seat. But he smothered her. Anyway, he put his hand over Celeste's mouth and nose, over the blanket, and his other hand around the front of Celeste's neck. Bella was seated right beside Celeste as he strangled her, but Bella didn't say anything, which would be a lie. That's not true. That would never happen. He doesn't understand survival instinct, human emotion, or anything. Not even in kids. No. As a kid, I saw some terrible things, and I never just sat there saying nothing. It's impossible to do. Yep. He had no idea how long it took to strangle or smother Celeste because he had no concept of time. I thought you looked it up though, dude. 2 to 4 minutes, but it could be up to 7 minutes as we know, but I don't don't know. I wonder if he really did this. With regard to what he was thinking at the time, I wasn't. If I was thinking, this wouldn't have happened. Or any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, then none of this would have happened, so I wasn't thinking. Interesting. I believe he's making all this up as well. That's why he didn't want to have a trial and no more investigation or digging, because so much would have been brought to light. Oh man, I wish he had a trial. I really wish he had a trial. NK googled the threesome before the trip to the sand dunes, camping overnight with both Chris Watts and Leave Jim Alone. What? Yep. So, when you say leave Jim alone, are you saying I should leave Jim alone? Or are you saying that she was camping overnight with Chris Watson? Oh, leaving Jim alone? Interesting. But either way, all three of them were there, which is friggin' weird. After Celeste died, he took Celeste out of the truck, walked her up to the oil tank, opened the hatch, and dropped her inside feet first. He believed it was tight when he put Celeste through the hatch in the oil tank. He did not have to hit Celeste into the tank, but may have had to manipulate her to get her inside. Doesn't like the word hit, but manipulate her, because it was a very small hatch. He closed the hatch on the oil tank and returned to his truck. When he got into the truck, Bella asked him, what happened to Cece? Bella asked him in her soft voice, is the same thing going to happen to me as Cece? He's not sure if he told Bella yes like a horrible person. Like a horrible person. Those are the only words he can come up with for this. Like a horrible person. I mean, it's like I'm a horrible person. You know what I mean? He's saying it in such a absolutely callous way. He then put the same Yankees blanket over Bella's head and did the same thing. Bella said, Daddy, no. And it was the last word she spoke. He put his hand over Bella's nose and mouth, over the blanket, and his other hand around the front of her neck. With regard to Bella's injuries in her mouth, Bella's head was twisting back and forth under the blanket while he smothered or strangled her. Which also explains the pillowcase stains with Shanann, that whether it was him alone or a group of people doing it, all those stains and marks were not just lying there praying. You would be surviving, trying to survive, so head would be twisting back and forth under the blanket or under the pillowcase. Oh, these details, they're too much, they're too much. Was someone else involved in these murders? I never heard that. That's why we all speculate, that's why we all talk about it so much, right? There's so much tangible evidence that was never tested or put into discovery. That's his name. Lol. Leave Jim. Oh, yeah. No, I get you now, Matilda. Leave Jim alone. After interviews where she demanded that the cops leave him out of the investigation. And why did they listen? Leave him out of it. Leave Jim alone. Debbie says it. Yeah, here's the name, everyone. Yeah. Okay. He noticed a couple of... Okay, wait. He could hear Bella grunt as she tried to breathe. He noticed a couple of spots over Bella's eye when he picked her up. He walked Bella up to a separate oil tank, opened the hatch, and dropped her inside feet first. Bella seemed harder to get into the tank than Celeste, but he just had to manipulate her to get her inside. He does not know why he put Bella and Celeste in separate oil tanks. Bella and Celeste were not alive when he put them into oil tanks. Even that's speculated, right? That they were... There was oil found in their lung, right? Am I right? In the autopsy? I've read that. And I'm like, okay. That's weird. After he put Bella in the oil tank, he returned to where Shanann was located and started to clear away some weeds with his rake. The rake broke when he used it to remove the weeds, and he left part of it out of the sight. He does not believe he ever thought about going back for the broken part of his rake. He dug a hole with his shovel and put Shanann inside. Shanann was not bleeding or cut when he buried her. It's friggin' weird to say. He recalled Shanann's eyes were bloodshot. Shanann had not partially given birth when he buried her in the ground. Shanann was wearing a shirt and blue-colored underwear. Every time he closes his eyes, he hears Bella say, Daddy, no. He hears it every day. And yet this mofo is allowed to have pictures of Bella and Celeste in his prison cell. And possibly of Shanann. Listening to Chris Watts' account of this is absolutely horrendous and barbaric. Those poor, precious, innocent children. It's so terrible. It's haunting. NK, The Mistress, is a movie in itself. I agree, right? But let that movie not be made. It's like Ted Bundy. We don't need more movies of him. Yes, leave Jim alone, and they did. Why? Why did they follow those orders? Why did they follow NK's orders? Why does everyone follow NK's orders? Anyway, we'll have to carry on tomorrow night. As you know, this will be a multiple-part series. This might be a 2-week thing just to go through these transcripts because we're only on page 12 now out of 29. But let's see how we go this week. Let me know if you guys, maybe I'll even do one on Friday night. I'll let you guys know. But for now, it's planned for tomorrow night and Thursday night. And then we'll carry on again next week. About him having pictures in his cell that is absolutely unacceptable. He should never, ever get to see their precious faces again. I don't understand why he's allowed to have their pictures in his cell and a children's book. A child killer is allowed to have a children's book in his cell to read children's stories to them. That's weird. That is a huge red flag to me. That there's bigger things involved. Big cover-ups. On Saturday, I'm also going live at the same time as usual. This week, Saturday. I don't usually do weekend ones unless it's like a bonus episode. But I will be interviewing Billy Baker and Devin Quinn, who are 2 screenplay authors. They wrote a screenplay called Infidelity. So I'll be interviewing them. It's a crime fiction type of screenplay. So it's not true crime. But they'll be on the show on Saturday night as a bonus episode for this weekend, if you guys are interested in that. I know Friday is the anniversary of the deaths, right? I should possibly do something on that day, right? I might release some tribute videos and things like that. I've made one tribute video for Shanann. I don't think people picked up on it too much because I definitely didn't call her Shanann Watts. It's Shanann Catherine Rusek. We'll be here stewing, mulling over all this information that's just sitting around, right? We can't stop doing this. I think NK defo helped with the murders and disposing them. I agree. NK and maybe even more people. I really feel like Jim was involved as well. If you have a link to that Facebook post, I don't have Facebook, but if you have a direct source or link to that Facebook post where Jim is bragging about killing people with his bare hands, please send it to me. My email address is on my About page. It's grizzlybookstruecrime@gmail.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here tonight. Lorraine says, thank you so much. I'll be here. You're amazing, an amazing writer, and do amazing work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I love being here. I love doing this. Didn't know. I had so much anxiety. Do you even know the backstory of how I started this channel? I have so much anxiety when it comes to cameras and stuff. And it's more than usual. It's not just like, I'm aware I'm so shy. There's like something that triggers trauma when a camera is lifted at my face, and I don't know what it is. And I've had to work in therapy to overcome that, right? I did an interview with police off the cuff. If you haven't seen it, that was the catalyst for all of this. Because once I'd overcome that, I'm like, I can do this. I can make my own channel. I can do this. So here I am. Police off the cuff. If you just go Gisela K, police off the cuff or whatever, you'll find it there. Gail says, I will check. This is why awesome and talented people like this young lady is doing, keeping shining bright lights on this injustice. Oh, they must have been absolutely terrified. That's what isn't covered in his story, in the story that, the police tell, the documentaries tell. No one talks about the sheer, absolute terror and the survival that they must have gone through this night. Sorry for that noise. I don't know what's going on outside. But it's absolutely horrendous. This is terrible. And I feel like this is one thing that just bothers me is how much Shanann was obviously online. It feels like that would be like a protective thing. Like, who would honestly murder someone who is such an online personality, if you know what I mean? It feels weird. Like, I really think he underestimated how many people's lives she impacted, how connected she was to people, what a massive range of emotions and creativity she actually had, how well loved and well liked she was, how supported she was, and even now beyond the grave. We support her absolutely, fully. This is absolutely horrendous. Can't believe this happened. Yeah, thank you to everyone who was here tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you, Lena, for being here always. Thank you to Lyndon from Murder at Bedtime with Lyndon. Thank you to Lindsay from Stolen From Me by Lindsay. All these channels are in my recommended channels list. And thank you to Debbie from the Right Shoe podcast. I don't think Chris from Screamtime Horror Podcast made it tonight. He'll be part of Case Club, which is launching on August 27th. I'll see you guys tomorrow night again for some more of this. Thank you. This was longer than usual. See you soon.